Hi, my name is Emily, and I'm a psychologist. I've spent years listening to the deepest fears, struggles, and secrets of people. But what happened to me outside of work was something so unusual, so unsettling, that I still think about it today. This is the story of how I realized I was being followed, and how it all led to one of the most unexpected lessons of my career. It started on a Tuesday evening. My sessions had run late, a couple of back-to-back appointments that left me drained. When I finally walked out of my office, the city streets were quieter than usual. The orange glow of street lamps reflected on wet pavement after a light drizzle. I remember pulling my scarf tighter, my bag heavy on my shoulder, thinking only about tea and bed. But halfway home, something felt off. You know that sensation? The invisible weight on your back. That whisper in your gut that says, "You're not alone." I slowed down near a shop window, pretending to look at a display. That's when I saw it. A blurry silhouette just a few paces behind me. Not too close, not too far, just there. My pulse quickened, but I told myself, Emily, don't overreact. This is the city. People walk behind people all the time. I picked up the pace. The figure picked up the pace. I slowed down. They slowed down. By the time I got home, my heart was racing. The next day, I brushed it off. Maybe coincidence, maybe paranoia. But Wednesday night, it happened again. Same time, same shadow, same steps behind me. Thursday, again. By then, my nerves were fried. Every sound of footsteps behind me sent electricity down my spine. I started checking reflections in windows, shiny car doors, even puddles. And each time, the figure was there. Never closer than a few steps. Never farther than half a block. And never a word spoken. By Friday, my routine was ruined. I didn't linger in coffee shops. I didn't smile at strangers. I didn't even stop to tie my shoe. I was too afraid to pause. That night, I burst into my apartment, slammed the door shut, and leaned against it, trembling. I told myself, enough. This isn't my imagination anymore. That's when I called Daniel. Daniel was an old friend. We'd studied together in college before he joined the police force. Calm, practical, sharp-eyed. The kind of guy you'd want on your side when things got scary. When I told him what was happening, he didn't laugh. He didn't dismiss me. He just said, Emily, tomorrow I'll be there. You walk like normal. I'll follow behind and we'll see who this shadow is. I felt immediate relief. At last, I wasn't alone. Saturday evening. The plan was simple. I leave work, walk home, act natural. Daniel stays back, watching, and right on cue, there he was, the figure. I could feel his eyes on me even before I checked the glass of a parked car. Halfway home, Daniel appeared at my side, his voice low. Curran, Emily, he said, do you know who that is? He, Mel, I turned. My breath caught. It wasn't a stranger. It wasn't some random stalker. It was one of my clients, a quiet young man I'd been counseling for anxiety and self-esteem issues. He froze when he realized we'd spotted him, his face going pale as chalk. The next day, I invited him to my office for a session. I didn't mention what had happened on the phone. When he walked in, he looked like he hadn't slept. His hands fidgeted constantly. His eyes darted everywhere but me. Finally, I asked, "Why have you been following me?" There was silence. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, he admitted the truth. He said he had developed feelings for me, that he admired me, respected me, even loved me. But he didn't know how to tell me. So instead, he followed me, hoping to learn what I liked, where I went, maybe someday finding the right way to talk about it. I was stunned. My heart softened, but my professional instincts screamed. I had two choices. I could lash out, tell him he'd crossed a huge line, make him feel ashamed. Or I could guide him like I would any client who'd lost their way. I chose the second. I said, "Listen, I understand your feelings. You're human. It's okay to feel attraction, but what you've done, following me, invading my space, it's not okay. It crosses boundaries, and it makes me unsafe. If you respect me at all, you need to respect those boundaries." He sat in silence, then whispered, "I didn't mean to scare you. I just didn't know how else to connect." From that day, he stopped following me. In therapy, we began to unpack his feelings. Not for me specifically, but his struggles with intimacy, his fear of rejection, his lack of social skills. It wasn't easy. There were tears, awkward pauses, even moments when I thought he might quit therapy altogether. But little by little, progress came. He started attending social groups. He tried real dating, fumbling at first, but learning. And he began to see me not as a crush, but as a professional helping hand. Looking back, those weeks were some of the most stressful of my life. The fear of being followed, the uncertainty, the nights I barely slept. But strangely, it also gave me one of my greatest lessons as a psychologist. Compassion and boundaries must always walk hand in hand, because compassion without boundaries becomes chaos, and boundaries without compassion become cruelty. So that's my story. How a quiet walk home turned into a suspenseful mystery, and how fear turned into an opportunity for growth, both for me and for him. And that's why, in my job, the most incredible stories don't always come from what clients tell me. Sometimes, they happen outside the office,